But it was good though. It was so believable.
Strangely easy to do. I actually think it's sort of weirder. Trying to like play characters is supposed to be like morally really like nice people.
Right.
I think my natural tendency is maybe I'm a douche. Maybe I'm a douchebag. No, but it was like fun to do, and fun to do that with Charlize.
Right. But I'm saying,
I think she's sort of worse than I am.
Yeah. But was there like a CEO that you were like, man, I gotta act like this guy? You know what I mean?
All of them.
All the CEOs, okay.
Just generally all the greedy people of the world.
You know, I heard some of your Spanish out there when we were talking, by the way. I think your brother bailed on you. Did he bail?
Where is he?
I think he's coming out. Okay, we'll get to him in just a second. How has your Spanish come out since the Gringo movie?
My Spanish is terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah, sadly it is terrible.
Is there some ladies in here would love to help him with the Spanish?
Sure, let's do that. Yeah. We're just talking about me being a douche and me not speaking Spanish, which makes me a double douche. I picked the wrong language at school and I learned to speak a bit of French.
A little bit of French?
Completely the wrong language, considering that we spend half of our time in California.
Right, true. Now, directing your brother, was that a difficult thing? Or was it easier?
Well, I'm the older brother, so I've been telling him what to do since we were little kids.
Of course. All right.
So just now I'm getting paid to tell him what to do.
All right, there you go. Was there anything in the movie that you were telling your brother, like, I don't know if we should do this scene? Or was it all just kind of like...
I don't know. I never really felt that way, did I?
I didn't think so.
Is there something that made them, or that didn't make the movie, that may be on like the Blu-ray edition that you guys are like, man, we should have included this, like the aftercut? Because everybody in here liked it, right? You guys all like Gringo. It was incredible.
That was a good screening. It felt good. I don't think
people love seeing him get that fucking banana skin, right?
By the way, we're going to get to some of your guys' questions. If you have a question, keep your hand up, because I'm going to come to you guys. All right, so keep your hand up, and we're going to come to a couple of questions. But going back into the movie itself, I mean, the whole concept of this, did you guys were you batting around like, hey, should this be like a drug-themed type of movie? Was it always just based on that? Because this is almost like the worst business trip ever, really. That's what it is.
Look, I think ultimately we just wanted to show what, one guy could go through when he thinks, his friend, he thinks the guy he's working for is his friend, and he, once he gets left all alone in Mexico, he starts to realize, the people he thought were on his side weren't really, and he sort of wakes up and works out where he is in the world,
Let's get a couple of the questions out here from the audience, and I know you all like the movie. Go ahead, my girl right there. Go ahead.
Hi Nash. I know you don't know me, but I know your brother Joel.
I'll let you know all about her in a minute.
It was definitely a tricky puzzle to put together. We shot in Chicago first for a couple of weeks, and then we shot in LA for a week, and then we shot 7 weeks in Mexico City, Veracruz, Alvarado, and then Tulum. But yeah, it was a crazy puzzle with the amount of people in it and the storylines and everything. It took a long time to edit together to get it right.
And Nash doesn't smoke anything. That the first part of your question. He doesn't smoke anything. He doesn't drink anything.
No, because when Johnny Depp did Pirates of the Caribbean,
He smoked a lot, did he? What did he smoke?
Are these factual?
What are you smoking?
We may have to fact check this one. Go right in front. There you go.
I got a question based on the writing. From the first draft to what we just saw right now, do you guys, because I know that you collaborated before as brothers, how much of that collaboration just goes into the script specifically, because there's just twists and turns constantly between the leads and the supporting characters?
The question was about the writing and from the development of the script and us collaborating together from the first draft to later drafts. Did that collaboration involve working on the script? And that's essentially what you said.
Yeah. So the first draft I read was quite. It was a much broader kind of film than what this is, and it was set in San Francisco. It was a white guy that gets kidnapped in Mexico. When I started working on the script, I wanted it to play more real. I wanted, the tone of it to be more straight. And I wanted the humour to come out of how absurd the situations were. And then, I met David Oyelowo, and I was like, this is my guy. I want him to play Harold. I think he's an excellent actor, and he and I got on really well. And then he suggested to me he should play him as a Nigerian immigrant. And the moment he said that, and then he told me about his dad's experience as an immigrant in the UK, and he started doing the accent and some of the scenes like that, and I just felt warm inside. I was like, this is the right way to do this. I think, I want to see this movie.
Was there a scene, by the way, because if you guys don't know, they sat through the whole movie and they were watching everybody's reaction.
This is the first time we've seen it with an audience.
Oh, that's really cool. So,
yeah.
Was there a scene that you guys were like, man, I'm so happy they like that one?
Oh, I was always looking forward to people finding out that Harold had kidnapped himself,
right?
Because it's such a great reveal in the movie that he's actually like faking his kidnapping, and that Richard and Elaine, who think they're smarter than him, have no idea.
Okay, let's get to a couple more questions. Go ahead, my man, right there.
First of all, I start by thanking Mr. Edgerton for the great role that he played in the great movie that we just saw. And I wanted to ask him, would you consider starring in either a DC or a Marvel movie, considering the popularity of the movie?
Would I consider starring in a...
Either DC or Marvel.
Yeah, better question. DC or Marvel?
Well, if you were going to go for the underdog, you'd say DC, right? But I think Marvel seems to be getting it right. Yeah. Yeah, I would totally consider it. I mean, I did. I worked on that movie Bright, which was a big movie. It was like a different world altogether. But I'm not adverse to it. No. I mean, I always sort of worry about the bigger movies if they're not character-based, but as we're seeing with a lot of Marvel movies, especially like lately, they really seem to be movies that resonate as well as give the spectacle. So, yeah, I'm down. If people will let me keep acting, I'll keep acting.
I can see him as a Bruce Wayne, by the way. I don't know if you guys see that. As like a Bruce Wayne, could totally be it. Kick-ass Batman. All right, go ahead, my man, right there.
Is there going to be a sequel?
To this. Gringos. Let's do it. Let's all get together and do it. Well, I think it's the world where we live in, right? If people go and see the movie and they love it, and then the next thing they do is they tweet about it, right? Or whatever.
Hashtag Gringo movie.
Hashtag it, and then before you know it, there'll be another one in your inbox.
Yep, March 9th. Don't forget, March 9th. Let's go ahead, right here. Yep, go ahead.
For me to play. You know what was weird? I always find sex scenes the weirdest to play, and doing that really weird sex scene with Charlize, I hate to say it, but that was probably the weirdest thing to do.
Walk us through that. What's like the prep? Are you like,
what
hey?
I did love about it was I think Charlize is excellent, and I think that part of the reason I wanted to play Richard in the movie is because Charlize had been a big fan of Nash's for a while. She was going to play Elaine. I felt like she was such a mean character, and that Silvers could be a mean double act. And then in that sex scene, what I love about it is that it says a lot about the two separate characters, that we're both basically looking at ourselves in the mirror. She's fixing her lipstick and I'm just kind of like counting the strokes. I think I was staring at myself, she was staring at herself. It was basically what two actors do when they have sex with each other, I guess.
Stare at themselves. Was it awkward to film? Or were you just kind of laughing behind the camera?
No, it was... No, look, I like making them do those.
All right, next question. What do you got? All right, go right here, man.
Yeah, I was wondering why Sonny didn't end up with Harold.
Well, because I wanted,
That's in Gringo.
ultimately, sometimes someone comes into your life to, teach you something or just to have a moment, and it doesn't mean they have to end up together. And I wanted a lot of these things to end up, how it would play out in real life. Not everyone gets, not all the bad people go down. That's why Elaine kind of gets away with it. And, Sonny and Harold don't necessarily end up together, but they stay connected. I think sometimes in movies it's like everything just works out, and as we were discovering in our real lives, sometimes the bad people get to do things that we don't want them doing.
Like running.
Dot. All right. Okay, go ahead, right here. Yeah.
It's sold everywhere in the world, so it's definitely screening in Nigeria and everywhere in Africa, actually.
Go ahead, right here.
So you guys have others where you said shorts where you swear you guys both co-wrote it. And me being a fan, ask this question is, will there ever be a possibility to see you guys ever co-direct? Is that something you guys have thought about?
Would we ever co-direct something together? Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, for sure.
Yeah, we're open to it.
But yeah, I actually kind of looking at this on the big screen and watching it with a crowd, it makes me just want to find like a slightly even bigger project for us to do, and he can direct me if my audition goes well.
Oh, okay. You go pick it. Go.
All right, right in the back on the right there. Thank you.
My question is, there is a scene where Richard's friend is in Haiti.
His brother's in Haiti, yeah.
Did you guys really shoot it in Haiti, or did you ever consider shooting it in Haiti?
The question was whether we shot the scene where Mitch is in Haiti, actually in Haiti. I definitely considered it, but because of the nature of, because it's one scene and trying to move a whole film crew there, we shot that in Mexico City. But we used, there was a lot of Haitians living in Mexico, and so all the extras in that scene are from Haiti. But they live in Mexico.
We got time for one more question. Go ahead, right here.
What part of the production do you consider going with Amazon versus, a regular studio?
The question was when did we decide to do this with Amazon? The guys who are heading the film department at Amazon, I met them before. They knew one of the guys, Bob Burney, who distributes the film. He distributed our first film together, and he just started at Amazon when I was going in there to meet. And the other guy, Ted Hope, who heads the film division there, he'd been a fan of my shorts for a long time, and he'd read the script and really liked it. And I basically went in there, and they said they wanted filmmakers to make the film they wanted to make, and and my main concern was I wanted to be able to cast the movie right, and I wanted it not just to be the same people who end up being the leads in every movie, and I was really keen for the lead character to be someone really interesting, and they gave me the freedom to cast David Oyelowo, who I think is excellent and so likable in the movie and such a great talent, and I was keen to see him do something different than he hadn't done before. And so for me, they were like awesome to work with. And
they were also willing to, Amazon as a streaming platform are also willing to release the film at cinemas before it hits their...
Yeah, they do a traditional theatrical release, so it'll play everywhere in the cinemas first, and it'll eventually end up on the Amazon platform. But what I love about Amazon is they're really keen to have movies in the theaters because of the kind of experience you get to have with a full crowd.
And speaking of the full crowd, one more time for Nash and Joel Edgerton, guys. Hashtag Gringo movie. One more time, make some noise. You guys are the first screening here in Miami. Anything else you guys like to say?
Well, no, thank you. That was awesome. Seeing you guys.
I can tell your friends to go see the movie.
Yeah.
All right, one more time, guys.